Hey everyone, welcome back to the shop. Today is the day we are going to get started on putting this 26cc gas engine on a Taylorcraft. This is about 10 years of stuff just sitting around here. That's the motor that I tried to donate to other people on their projects, and unfortunately nobody took me up on it. So anyway, this is the freebie. Sorry about the bad lighting again. That's what we do work with in here. This is the plane I got from Max Plaza. This is the freebie. So with the hopes that everything is going to hopefully go nicely on this one. And I think I've got a fuel tank around here somewhere. I've just got to dig through my stash to see if I can find it. So anyway, let me go run upstairs, dig all the stuff I want to have together. And then what I'll do is I probably won't bring you guys through with getting this thing properly aligned, because it's going to take me a little bit. But what I'll do is I'll bring you back in just to give you a really good view of what you need to do, just to hopefully do it right the first time. Alright, the first thing we need to do is we need to get the cowling on and make sure that it's, let's just call it level. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the painted lines on here with tape and bring it up along here. I want to make sure that we're straight. I'll probably use this straight edge right there first. And then once I get this all off, then I'm going to put a piece of tape down the side, mark where the holes are at, and then go ahead and transfer that on the side here, drill the holes through. We got to get this ready. This has got to be mounted first. Then we need to figure out what the distance is from the front of the cowling right here back to the firewall. And then if we're going to have to build a standoff, and I think on this one I'm going to have to build a standoff just because of the distance here versus the distance back there. Now the carburetor is going to go through, so it may have to go through the firewall a little bit. We're not 100% sure yet. I'm hoping not. I'm hoping it can at least stay even, so if we're pulling air through the center section in the middle right there, you can kind of see it. If we're at least pulling air through there into it, that's fine. I don't have an issue with that. Now the problem I'm having right now, I got to find the standoffs. I think they're upstairs somewhere. If not, I do have I've got an assortment of different size standoffs that I can work with, and if push comes to shove, I can always get some bolts and make my own. I'm going to try not to do that. So I'll see if I can locate the standoffs around here. But the first thing to do is get this thing on, and then we have to try to make sure that it's straight through, and that's where it's going to be interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'll put a piece of tape from the center up here all the way up to the center, and then I'll make a mark here, and then we'll have a pretty much just run a line from, we could do it from the top of the rudder, we could do it from the base of the rudder. Either way, if we come up to the top, have it cross over this marker up here, and then come down and keep in a straight line right down in here, then we should not have an issue. It should be straight. And I want to make sure I get all that stuff before I drill the holes. So, and don't sweat this, the rest of the plane looks just about as bad as that section. So if I really want to fix that, I can, or I can just go out and just have fun flying it. And these are the best planes to have fun with when they're free and you got all the rest of the stuff to fly it. It's no more money out of my pocket what I've already got invested. So these planes are just a blast to fly, just because you don't have $1,000 wrapped up in it. Okay, let's see how well you can see this little soft spot right there. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it through here. Let's give it a shot. You can see a little stringer on the side. It's got a crack. It might be better off right about there. It's got a little crack in it, no big deal. I can fix that. What I could do is push it out and then wick some thin CA into the crack, and if I have to put another little piece of balsa on the top or the bottom just to strengthen it, that's fine. What would probably happen is somebody just picked it up wrong. That's why it's nice building your own planes that are designed to last. They are heavier, but they're designed to last. All right, let's see how well we can see this. Now what I did is I already came in and started anchoring. It's kind of hard to see exactly how this is because I'm gonna have to pull it down and put an anchor in here and one over here because the center is gonna get cut out. I want to use the sides, but I may just have to put a quick little anchor in down here that I can, you know, either leave in place or not. I want to stand these off a little bit. I wanted to get it tighter on the top, but then have it stand off a little bit on the sides, just for more airflow going out the sides. We'll see what happens with that. Not critical. Anyway, what I did was with the string, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, assuming I can do this properly. I may be asking too much. Don't know how much you're going to be able to see the string, but you can see my little mark on the top. I line it up with the mark, and then as I come down, I eyeball it from this point to make sure that it's straight and not where it lines up on the tape. And that is about as straight as I can get that, and that's right there. It's on the marks. Put a center mark down here and a center mark on the tape, so I'm within the width of that ink from the pen, so I'm good on that one. All right, the other thing I've got to do is this is going to get pulled down a little bit, and that's why I want to do the mark on it. So that's why I may just go ahead and just put a screw in on that side and a screw in on the other side, pull it down, and that is level. So, and then it's just going to be a matter of me making the marks on the sides. So I can take, once I get that locked in, I can put a piece of tape on the side, and then we'll make the marks from there, and hopefully we'll get it the way it needs to be. So, stage one. I still haven't found the standoffs yet. I know they're here. It's every time I'm looking for something else, I'll find those standoffs. So, just got to keep looking. All right, let's see how well my measurements pan out. Keep your fingers crossed. Wrong screw. Get at least started off on the right foot. It was all diligently measured. The question is, did I get the holes drilled in the right spots? That's the fun part. I may make a change to how I'm going to do this too, with the little standoffs on the side. It may just be a little washer that's going to get glued to the back side, or however I want to do it. I might make it as simple as possible. And the problem is, it is a 1/4-20. It's just got a really weird button head size on it, and it doesn't seem to want to work for me. Well, that hole's in the right spot. It's a good way to start anyway. See, because I can't get it to grip nicely. So I'm just going to kind of, these probably won't be the button heads I'll use, but regardless, let's at least see if everything somewhat lines up the way it should. Number 2, also getting properly attached. Last 2 screws. Going in. And if this lines up nicely, I'll take you around for a look on the front. Oh, it's going in. Okay. Alright, what that did, I'll show you what it did. It was going in, it backed the little, whatever you want to call it. It's almost like a nut. It's a screw kind of thingy. Anyway, that I can fix. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it from up here. No. I know what's happening though, because I can see it when I look at it from a certain angle. What it did is, I'll show you the little screws. The little screws that go through the side on this, it just kept screwing it out the other way. So I'll back it out all the way, probably put some kind of glue or epoxy on it, and then re-screw it back in. It'll be good. It's just an attachment point. But when we look at it, all the lines look nice and straight down the side. both sides, and this should still be, I'm so very much hoping this should still be straight dead on. Close enough. Close enough for government work. Alright. Cowling is on. So now from here, now I'm going to come on inside and I'll take measurements and see where everything's going to line up, and I will let you know what I'm going to have to do for that motor right over there. Alright, so the measurements are 6 3/8 inches, or about 163 millimeters. So anyway, 6.38. Awesome. 6.375. And what we're working with on the motor, see if I can get you all in here on this one. We are at just a click under 4. We're probably about 3 7/8 inches to here. And as you can see, 6 3/8, that will make it stand proud of the firewall, because I want to have it at least 1/8 inch off the front of the cowling. So we're looking at about 6 1/2. So that should be fine. All right, I'm back in the shop. After hours of searching for the standoffs, I found them. Where were they? They were right here. They were right underneath one of my little tools, just to keep the material pushed up against the fence as it goes to the bandsaw. That's where it was. So what I had done is I went to the hardware store, got some of this, got some 1/2 inch aluminum tubing, and then the hardware I was going to need to run it through and anchor it in. And I really wasn't ready to use it, because as you know, this shirt says it all. That's what I do. All right, anyway, everything that I measured out, I did find them. So I'm going to go ahead. So that'll get me set up to figure out how far away we've got to make a spacer, if we have to make a spacer at all for the motor. And I think it might be a little one, but whatever. So that's taken care of. I did find upstairs, and I think this was one spare from my yak from many moons ago, for probably, I don't know, 10, 13, 14 years ago. So it's a 25 fluid ounces, because it's 750 cc. So this will be perfect for that plane. So, with the exception of me running and spend $11 at stuff I didn't need, that I'll keep. It'll come into use some point in time. I still have not had to really, with the exception of that, put any money into this plane. So, and that's my goal. So anyway, let me get everything set up, and then with the hopes that I can get the motor mounted today. And if the motor's mounted, it's just that the fuel tank, and readdress the throttle system. So I could possibly have this one done today. Probably not, but I possibly could. All right, here is where the mess begins. As you can see, there's been at least 2 motors, maybe 3 motors thrown on the front of this plane. From what I understand, Jason had a heck of a time putting this plane together, and then when he got done putting it together and flew it, he didn't know why he spent so much time working on it. He was more of a aerobatic, snap roll, snap the plane in half kind of guy. All right, you can see there's holes everywhere, and this is with me just coming in with measurements, knowing about where everything needs to line up on the engine. And because if you saw some of my older videos where I use the oh my gosh, the cotangent to figure it out, I'm just throwing an educated guess down. Now what I did do is I realized where the center really was. You can see how many times they had to adjust. So I made sure that the cowling was on first, because I want the cowling on straight. So I'm making the measurements from where it should be. where it should be. I don't know if it's going to be there or not. So what I did is I came in and lined this up. Sorry about that. Lined this up. And if I had another set of hands, I could show you. So that this was dead on with the center line on the top. That's all I got to go to start with. I'm gonna assume that this line is correct, and this is where it's going to be interesting. So here's this is my plan. Right or wrong, it's my plan. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna plug holes. I've got holes to plug. You can't drill through that. I sure as heck can't drill through that. So you can see that it's all compromised. I don't want to do anything with this. I can't put a plate on the front of it because I've got to cut. Oops, sorry. I've got to cut about that much off. So I'm gonna have to come in and retap a little bit deeper than that. That's no big deal. So anyway, so my goal is to, if nothing else, at least today, get everything plugged up that needs to get plugged up. Any little holes that are outside of this zone. This I'm going to have to try to figure out how to plug it. This I'll plug. Not concerned about that one, or that one. I just want to get what's close to begin with, because I won't know until I get the motor mounted and put the cowling on any changes that need to be done. My thing, I'm just going to put 2 screws just through the top, nothing through the bottom. So I'll hang it off the top 2 screws, put the cowling on, and see how close we are, because I'd rather just have to move 2 holes than 4 holes. So if you get my drift, that's the fun part. All right, let's see how well you can see this. All right, what I did is I made a simple little jig just so I can shave this little flat part. It's about 1/4 inch. I got to shave that off so that way the motor will sit at the right distance away from the firewall. And because this side is the part that goes up against the firewall, I don't need all the thread. I only need probably about, let's say maybe 3/8 of an inch of thread, and it's in there and it's good thread, so I don't have to rethread these. So anyway, what I'm doing is I've got this set up so it's just a piece of Luan with this little teeny wedge on the bottom, and that is because when this piece here gets cut, and you might be able to see it, it's going to support it to keep the height the same all the way through to the end of the cut, because I don't want this thing to deviate. You know, hopefully all will go well. And then I just have a piece of just some 1/2 inch balsa just sitting here because I want something behind it, so that way it stands off and not going to have an issue with it cutting this whole little piece off that I just put on. All right, keep your fingers crossed. I want to drop this down as far as I can go. The less blade flex, the better. And there we go, my solid cut, and it should be straight. All right, they're all done, and they're all within 2/1000ths of an inch. Won't make a difference. All right, I got everything set up, and we're gonna see how close I am. I started putting the cowling on, realizing that, I mean, it was to where I was gonna have to cut out for the motor. So I just kind of eyeballed it. We'll see how close I am on this one. This side over here had to be open a little bit bigger for the spark plug. I may have to open up a little bit. I want to have good airflow around this motor because there's not much exiting. It's going to be exiting more down by the exhaust, and I'm probably going to patch the hole on the bottom of the cowling, or the bottom of the firewall, just to help direct more air past it. But I want to make sure at least the head is getting properly cooled. So let's take a look. And the answer is, oh yeah, I could live with that. That's the second attempt. So we're calling that done. So motor's ready to go. You can see I still got enough room on this side. The spark plug's gonna go here, and I may have to, like I said, cut out up in here for that fun piece. And then I gotta figure out where I wanna mount this on the firewall. I do have plenty of room over there, but I think the throttle's got to come out through there as well. So, all right, anyway, step 2 done. Time to take everything off and see how I want to get all of this stuff attached to it, and then figure out how much more I got to cut out of this.